but the first movie, let's not forget, was a small movie. Was a small budget movie. It was kind of an independent movie with $6.5 million.
Arnold Schwarzenegger just dropped a bombshell about the 6 films that shaped him, and they're not what you'd expect. The man who embodied the Terminator and conquered both Hollywood and politics has revealed a list that goes beyond action-packed blockbusters. These picks reveal his hidden passions, surprising influences, and the stories that inspired his journey from bodybuilding champion to global superstar. Prepare to see a whole new side of the action icon. E.T. The Extra-Terrestrial. When asked to name a film that truly shaped his understanding of cinema's power, he didn't hesitate. Steven Spielberg's 1982 masterpiece, E.T. The Extra-Terrestrial was first on his list. To him, E.T. wasn't just another science fiction adventure. It was a cultural phenomenon that redefined what a family film could be. The story of a stranded alien who befriends a lonely young boy resonated across generations and demographics, a rare achievement even by Hollywood's highest standards. He explained that E.T. represented a whole new way of entertaining, a comment that speaks to Spielberg's ability to fuse spectacle with emotional intimacy. While earlier science fiction films often relied on cold futurism or dystopian tension, E.T. brought warmth, humanity, and wonder to the genre. The film's emotional core, rooted in themes of friendship, trust, and the ache of separation, transcended age and culture. Spielberg didn't merely show us an alien visitor. He gave us a mirror for our own capacity for empathy and connection. The movie's visual storytelling played a huge part in its universal appeal. The glowing fingertip, the BMX bikes silhouetted against the moon, and John Williams' soaring score became instantly iconic. These weren't just special effects or clever shots, they were images that lodged themselves into the public imagination. They captured the sense of childhood possibility, the belief that the extraordinary could be hiding just beyond the edges of the ordinary. For many who saw it during its original release, E.T. was a communal experience. Theaters were filled with families, teenagers, and even older couples who might not have been typical moviegoers for a kids' film. Spielberg's skillful blending of humor, suspense, and tenderness ensured that every audience member found something to hold on to. The alien wasn't frightening, but endearing, and the human characters were flawed yet deeply relatable. By grounding the story in a familiar suburban world, Spielberg made the extraordinary feel accessible. He praised Spielberg's direction as spectacular, emphasizing that the filmmaker balanced technical brilliance with emotional depth. The movie's pacing, visual effects, state-of-the-art for 1982, and character development were seamless. Even the smallest details, like the way E.T. mimics Elliot or hides among stuffed animals, added layers of charm and believability. More than 4 decades later, E.T. still feels timeless. Its themes remain fresh because they're universal. The longing for connection, the innocence of childhood wonder, and the bittersweet nature of saying goodbye. To him, this was the magic Spielberg captured, that E.T. wasn't just for science fiction fans or kids. It was, as he put it, literally for everyone to enjoy. It doesn't matter. Women, men, young, old, everybody could enjoy that movie. The film's influence can be felt in countless works that followed, from modern family blockbusters to nostalgic shows like Stranger Things. Its impact also shaped how studios approached family-oriented storytelling, proving that heartfelt, character-driven narratives could become box-office juggernauts. The Godfather second on his list of all-time favorites is Francis Ford Coppola's legendary 1972 masterpiece, The Godfather, a film that reshaped modern cinema and remains an enduring cultural touchstone. Winning 3 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, The Godfather is widely regarded as one of the greatest films ever made. For him, its brilliance lies not only in its sweeping narrative, but in its seamless blending of action, character, and emotion. Arnold Schwarzenegger, a man who built his career on adrenaline-fueled spectacles, emphasized how The Godfather stands apart even when viewed through the lens of action filmmaking. "When you talk about action movies," he said, "the combined story with action, and again, really well-fleshed-out characters and all that. I mean, The Godfather is without any doubt one of the best of that kind." His praise underlines a crucial point. The film's violence isn't gratuitous, nor is its tension built on spectacle alone. Coppola crafts every shootout, betrayal, and whispered threat with narrative purpose. Each moment of action serves to deepen our understanding of loyalty, ambition, and the moral decay at the heart of the Corleone Empire. Part of what makes The Godfather extraordinary is its intricate character development. From Marlon Brando's iconic portrayal of Don Vito Corleone, a man whose quiet power and calculated wisdom dominate every scene, to Al Pacino's transformation as Michael Corleone from reluctant outsider to ruthless leader, the film paints its characters in rich, unforgettable strokes. Schwarzenegger's mention of well-fleshed-out characters speaks directly to this quality. These are not cardboard archetypes, but fully realized people, each with desires, weaknesses, and contradictions. Even secondary figures like Sonny, Fredo, and Tom Hagen leave indelible impressions. The movie's storytelling is equally compelling. Adapted from Mario Puzo's novel, Coppola's screenplay weaves themes of family, loyalty, power, and corruption into a narrative that feels both intimate and epic. The film's opening wedding sequence, a masterclass in exposition and tension, establishes relationships, stakes, and tone without a single forced moment. As the plot unfolds, every decision carries weight, and every act of violence reverberates through the family's world. Schwarzenegger's respect for The Godfather also reflects his appreciation for craftsmanship. Gordon Willis's shadow-drenched cinematography creates a haunting atmosphere that mirrors the moral ambiguity of the Corleones. Nino Rota's mournful, unforgettable score wraps the film in a sense of tragedy. Coppola's meticulous direction, balancing quiet character beats with explosive action, set a new standard for what a crime drama could achieve. Beyond its technical excellence, The Godfather became a cultural phenomenon, influencing generations of filmmakers and embedding itself in popular culture. Its quotes, "I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse," or "leave the gun, take the cannoli," remain part of our collective vocabulary. Its themes of family loyalty and the corrupting influence of power resonate far beyond its mob setting, making it relatable to audiences who may never step into a gangster's world. The Sound of Music. Taking the third spot on his list of all-time favorites is Robert Wise's beloved 1965 musical, The Sound of Music, a film that not only enchanted audiences worldwide, but also held a deeply personal significance for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Starring Julie Andrews as Maria and Christopher Plummer as Captain Von Trapp, the film is a cornerstone of classic Hollywood storytelling, combining breathtaking visuals, unforgettable songs, and heartfelt emotion. For Schwarzenegger, however, it was more than just an entertaining movie. It was a cinematic love letter to his homeland. "It's Austria. The music, the look of it," he said with admiration, reflecting on how vividly the film captured the natural splendor of the country where he was born. To him, The Sound of Music didn't just tell an interesting story. It showcased Austria in a way that few international audiences had ever seen before. The lush green hills of Salzburg, the soaring peaks of the Alps, and the charming Baroque architecture became as iconic as the film's songs. It sold his homeland visually, as he put it, in such a spectacular way. The movie itself, adapted from the Broadway musical based on the real-life story of the Von Trapp family, has long been praised for its combination of historical drama and joyful escapism. Wise balanced the looming threat of Nazi occupation with the exuberant optimism of Maria's songs, creating a film that spoke to both the darkness and the light of its time. Classics like Do Re Mi, My Favorite Things, and Climb Every Mountain became part of global popular culture, and Julie Andrews' luminous performance made Maria one of cinema's most beloved heroines. For Schwarzenegger, who grew up in post-war Austria, the film's portrayal of the Alps wasn't just scenery, it was a reflection of home. He has spoken about visiting the various filming locations in Salzburg and the surrounding mountains, retracing the steps of Andrews and Plummer. For him, standing in those places reinforced how powerfully a movie could connect geography, memory, and emotion. The fact that The Sound of Music continues to draw tourists to Salzburg decades later is a testament to its visual impact and its enduring charm. What makes Wise's film special, and what clearly resonated with Schwarzenegger, is how it combines spectacle with sincerity. While the musical numbers are grand and beautifully staged, they never overshadow the human story at the center. A young woman bringing joy and love to a grieving family, even as the world outside grows increasingly dangerous. The film's balance of joyous music, rich character development, and historical context gives it a timeless quality, one that continues to win over new generations. Schwarzenegger's appreciation for The Sound of Music also reflects his understanding of cinema as an ambassador. The film introduced Austria's landscapes, traditions, and culture to millions who had never seen them before. For an Austrian like him, watching those rolling hills and picturesque villages on a Hollywood screen was both a source of pride and a reminder of home. Titanic. Sticking with the theme of American classics, the next film on his list is James Cameron's monumental 1997 blockbuster Titanic, a movie that not only dominated the box office, but also became a cultural event of unprecedented scale. When Arnold Schwarzenegger talks about movies that leave a lasting impression, Titanic stands out as a perfect example of cinematic storytelling at its finest. He praised Cameron, calling the film really well done, highlighting its flawless combination of visual effects, intimate personal stories, rich character development, gripping action, and an emotionally devastating ending. For him, everything about Titanic, the emotional roller coaster ride, and the music was a straight 10. What makes Schwarzenegger's admiration particularly meaningful is his own history with Cameron. The two had already created some of the most iconic action films together: The Terminator, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, and True Lies. So Schwarzenegger knew firsthand Cameron's obsession with detail and commitment to pushing the boundaries of filmmaking. Seeing Cameron pivot from science fiction action to a historical romance disaster film on such an epic scale impressed even someone who had worked beside him. Released in December 1997, Titanic became a phenomenon, grossing over $2 billion worldwide and winning 11 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. But beyond its record-breaking numbers, Schwarzenegger's praise underscores why the film connected with so many people. It was as much a personal love story as it was a spectacle of disaster. Cameron didn't simply recreate the sinking of the RMS Titanic. He humanized it through the doomed romance between Jack Dawson, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Rose DeWitt Bukater, Kate Winslet. By grounding the tragedy in their emotional journey, Cameron ensured that audiences felt the stakes in every crashing wave and creaking beam. The visual effects were groundbreaking for their time. Cameron's use of cutting-edge CGI and practical sets created a seamless illusion of the ship's grandeur and ultimate destruction. The painstakingly detailed recreation of the Titanic itself, from the sweeping decks to the lavish dining rooms, added authenticity to the spectacle. Schwarzenegger, himself no stranger to large-scale productions, recognized this achievement as more than technical wizardry. It was filmmaking that elevated the disaster genre to high art. But Titanic was not just about spectacle. As Schwarzenegger pointed out, the character development and personal stories were integral to its power. Supporting characters, from Kathy Bates's spirited Molly Brown to the stern authority of Captain Smith, added layers of humanity to the tragedy. Even minor characters were memorable, giving the disaster a deeply human dimension. The film's emotional weight culminated in an ending that left audiences in tears. The haunting image of Rose letting Jack slip beneath the freezing Atlantic waters became one of the most iconic moments in cinema. James Horner's lush, Oscar-winning score, combined with Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On, sealed the film's place in popular culture. Unforgiven. For his penultimate choice, Arnold Schwarzenegger turned to one of the most revered films in modern cinema. Clint Eastwood's 1992 Best Picture-winning Western Unforgiven. More than just a favorite film, it represents for Schwarzenegger a deeply personal connection to an artist he has admired since before he even set foot in America. Calling Eastwood an idol of mine, Schwarzenegger revealed how profoundly the legendary actor-director influenced his view of storytelling, craftsmanship, and perseverance. "I always idolized him since before I came over to America," Schwarzenegger said. "I loved his Western movies and followed his career very closely, then became friends with him and really admired him. Tremendously skilled as a producer, as a director, the music he does for his movies, the acting, the directing, I mean everything." These words aren't casual praise, they're a tribute from one cinematic icon to another. Schwarzenegger, who grew up in Austria watching Eastwood's rugged gunslingers on the big screen, found in him a blueprint for what a Hollywood legend could be: versatile, enduring, and uncompromising. Unforgiven itself is a remarkable film that redefined the Western genre. At a time when traditional Westerns had faded from Hollywood's spotlight, Eastwood returned to the genre that had made him a star, but he did so with a darker, more reflective perspective. As both director and lead actor, Eastwood crafted a story that stripped away the romanticized myths of the Old West to reveal a world of violence, regret, and moral ambiguity. The film follows William Money, a once notorious outlaw turned struggling farmer, who reluctantly takes on one final job that forces him to confront his violent past. Schwarzenegger's appreciation for Eastwood's skill as a filmmaker is well-founded. The movie's direction is patient and deliberate, allowing tension and emotion to build gradually. Eastwood avoids flashy heroics, instead presenting gunfights as chaotic and ugly, their consequences painfully real. His choice to play Money as a man weighed down by guilt and age added emotional depth rarely seen in earlier Westerns. The supporting performances, Gene Hackman's chilling Little Bill Daggett, Morgan Freeman's loyal Ned Logan, and Richard Harris's elegant English Bob, further enriched the story's moral complexity. The film's technical elements also reflect Eastwood's artistry. His spare, haunting use of music, often self-composed, gives Unforgiven a quiet melancholy that lingers long after the credits roll. The cinematography by Jack N. Green captures vast, desolate landscapes that mirror the film's themes of isolation and reckoning. Everything about Unforgiven feels intentional, from its pacing to its final haunting title card. For Schwarzenegger, Eastwood's career trajectory, moving from iconic leading man to critically acclaimed director and producer, is especially inspiring. Both men carved out their places in Hollywood through hard work, risk-taking, and an unwavering commitment to their visions. Their eventual friendship, as Schwarzenegger noted, added a personal dimension to his admiration. Westworld. Rounding out Arnold Schwarzenegger's list of all-time favorites is Michael Crichton's 1973 sci-fi western Westworld, a film that left an imprint so deep it directly influenced one of his most iconic roles. Long before HBO's high-tech reimagining or the massive success of Jurassic Park, Crichton, already known for his sharp speculative storytelling, wrote and directed this genre-bending masterpiece. For Schwarzenegger, its impact was transformative. "It just had the most profound impact on me," he said, emphasizing that Westworld was the spark that got him really interested in playing the Terminator. In Westworld, Yul Brynner stars as the Gunslinger, a seemingly indestructible robotic cowboy who stalks visitors inside a futuristic theme park. The premise, an adult playground where wealthy guests live out their Western fantasies, turns chilling when the park's android hosts malfunction and begin hunting the humans. Brenner's emotionless performance, his blank stare hidden beneath the brim of a black hat, set a precedent for how to portray a mechanical menace. Schwarzenegger has often cited Brenner's controlled, deliberate movements and eerie presence as inspiration for his own portrayal of the T-800 in The Terminator more than a decade later. What struck Schwarzenegger wasn't just Brenner's performance, but the way Westworld merged genres in a bold, unexpected way. The film's combination of classic Western imagery, dusty saloons, shootouts at high noon, with science fiction concepts like artificial intelligence and technological collapse was groundbreaking for its time. It suggested that the myths of the Old West and the fears of a computerized future could coexist in a single gripping story. Schwarzenegger also praised Westworld as a very well-made movie and a very well-written movie, and his admiration for its craftsmanship is telling. Michael Crichton, who would go on to write Jurassic Park, had a gift for marrying high-concept science fiction with accessible human storytelling. Westworld wasn't just about malfunctioning robots. It was about hubris, the dangers of unchecked technology, and the fragility of human control. Its suspense builds gradually, trading flashy effects for creeping dread, a choice that gives the movie an enduring sense of tension. For a young Schwarzenegger, then still an aspiring star with dreams of Hollywood, Westworld represented what science fiction could be at its best: intelligent, thrilling, and imaginative. It showed him that a performance could convey terror and fascination without excessive dialogue or theatricality, something he would later embody in his nearly wordless turn as the Terminator. As decades later, the film's influence can still be felt, not only in Schwarzenegger's career, but across popular culture. The concept of an artificial world spinning out of control has inspired countless stories, from Ridley Scott's Blade Runner to Crichton's own Jurassic Park, and of course, the HBO series that reintroduced Westworld to a new generation. By choosing Westworld as his final pick, Schwarzenegger highlighted the power of film to shape an actor's imagination and career trajectory. To him, it wasn't merely a clever sci-fi western, it was the catalyst that inspired one of cinema's most unforgettable characters. Brenner's gunslinger walked so Schwarzenegger's Terminator could run, or more accurately, stalk with chilling precision. Even today, the movie's themes of technology run amok, and the uneasy relationship between man and machine remain just as relevant, proving why Westworld remains a cornerstone of the genre and a personal touchstone for the action icon. What do you think about the movies that Arnold Schwarzenegger especially loves? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.